When we hear the word organic, many people immediately think expensive and limited food options. Where would one start? Well, it just so happens that Organic Week, a time to bring all those questions to the forefront, just kicked off today. And we are delighted to welcome Michelle W. Book, the in-house holistic nutritionist for the Canadian Health Food Association, to our studios this evening. Welcome back to What She Said.
Thank you for having me.
So, are those the biggest misconceptions people have about organic?
There are a lot of misconceptions, and that is something I hear a lot, is it's too expensive, it's too expensive. But the good news is it doesn't have to be. There's lots of ways that we can shop organic more affordably. So the first thing is to shop in season. So this time of year, we're looking at apples, pears, squash, all those kinds of nice fall fruits and vegetables. So picking these typically will lower your price, and buying fruits and vegetables when they are on sale is a great idea. Also, looking beyond the produce aisle. So a lot of times we think about, those fruits and vegetables, but we don't necessarily think about items like pastas and sauces and condiments that can all be found organic as well.
One of the interesting things is Whole Foods, which has been bought. They're saying that they're going to lower prices significantly, I guess, to bring it to a greater market.
And I think that, as people are becoming more and more aware of organic foods and purchasing organic foods, there becomes a higher demand. And as we have the demand supply ratio. And I think that people are becoming also more aware of how important organic is, not only for their health, because we know when we choose organic, we reduce our exposure to synthetic pesticides, artificial ingredients, GMOs. We're also investing in the environment and animal welfare.
Okay, so let's go there
Sure.
for a little bit. So what exactly counts as organic? We have the whole farm to table push, and that it may not necessarily be organic.
Yes.
But things like raspberries, they're very hard to get any kind of pesticide off. So give us a description of what a true organic product is.
That's a great question. We know when it comes to organic, we want to first of all look for the Canada Organic logo. I have a copy here. You can also find it on the Canadian Health Food Association website, CHFA.ca. But this Canada Organic logo is your guarantee that 98% or more of the ingredients in the product that you're purchasing is actually organic. So that goes for the condiments, the sauces, that kind of thing. But when it comes to produce, fruits, vegetables, we know that we have very strict Canada Organic regulations that are overseen by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, the Canadian government. So there are standards that are all along the supply chain from farm to table when it comes to those organic regulations that make sure that organic integrity is intact and that the regulations, those standards are being followed.
Now, I've heard people say in the grocery store to one another, organic, if you wash the apple really well, it's just, it's just hype. But there are benefits. What are the tangible benefits, Michelle?
Well, the tangible benefits definitely are that reduction of pesticides, of herbicides, of genetically modified organisms, of artificial ingredients. We find significantly less of those in organic foods.
Well, I'm sure you've seen studies, maybe we should remind listeners what they are, that continued use or ingestion of those elements causes whatever it causes. And what do we expect to see in our health?
Results.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually hard to quantify, to be able to say, this specific study has said this. What we do know is that reduction does help when it comes to our overall health. We also know that, especially when we're thinking about small children, we know their bodies are smaller. Me being having a son that's a toddler, another one on the way, I'm very mindful of what I'm putting in my body, what those long-term implications are. And, we don't have all the answers. We don't exactly know. But we do know that when we shop the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, we reduce
That's what I wanted to ask you about. And it was because I couldn't remember. It was the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So those are things that maybe have a thinner skin. So those are the ones you want to start with. Focus on, definitely buy organic.
Okay,
Exactly.
What are they?
So that's a great question. So the Environmental Working Group puts out a list every year of the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So to your point, it's not necessarily the skin. It's the Dirty Dozen are those fruits and vegetables that tend to be more heavily sprayed.
Okay.
So we think about things that the birds, the bees, the insects like. So strawberries, number 1 on the list. Spinach, number 2. Peaches, apples, red peppers, potatoes are all on that dirty dozen list.
So those are the things that you should buy
Organic.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The clean 15 are those that are less sprayed. And those do tend to have a thicker peel. So we think about grapefruit being number 15. We also think about corn.
Melon?
Kiwi, yes, melon as well. And then other asparagus. So not necessarily always having a peel, but avocados as well. So it's really great. You can go, again, on the Canadian Health Food Association website, chfa.ca. We have the list there. You can print it out. You can put it in your wallet. So then when you're shopping, you can just pull it out and it's an easy reference guide. And then you can invest your money into those fruits and vegetables that tend to be heavily
absorb more.
Exactly. But still making sure, you always want to make sure you wash all produce very well when you get home. But you can invest in that clean 15, in that dirty dozen, versus saving some money for the clean 15.
So if someone out there is thinking about going organic, this is the beginning of where they start, right?
Exactly.
Where do they go from there?
And I think that it can become very overwhelming. Where do I start? And it's not about switching everything out organic in one big swoop. It's small steps over time. So maybe you go to your grocery store this week. It's organic week. Tomato sauce is on sale. So you stock up a little bit and you have some extra in your pantry, or oatmeal or granola or whatever it is. And I think it's about slowly, making that transition. I personally love, in the summertime, blueberries, strawberries, peaches. I actually buy an excess in organic, and I just put them in my freezer. Freeze them in freezer bags. I have them handy. This time of year, as apples come into season, you can freeze apples, and then you have them. You can add them to your smoothies. Even vegetables, you can add to your soups and stews later on in the winter. So it's about trying to be prepared and trying to look for ways that you can economically choose organic.
So you don't actually, frozen food, you're still maintaining the nutritional value. I know that peas, for example, are actually better frozen because they're flash frozen right when they're picked.
Exactly.
So they're actually better for you probably than the fresh. So that's something.
What about meat? Because that's a big issue, because meat is expensive. And for people who are watching, I mean, we had a survey out a few weeks ago saying that Canadians say that they spend, 40% of Canadians say they spend their whole paycheck just living. And it's going paycheck to paycheck. So how do you justify to yourself that you can spend that much more? Because it is more expensive, organic meat.
It definitely is. And, dairy products as well. I think, as a holistic nutritionist, I think that we tend to eat more meat than we necessarily need to. So I think, the first step is really looking at how much meat am I consuming in a week, and do I need to be consuming that much meat? Mm-hmm. Could I cut back a couple of days, and then instead of, having meat 5 times a week, have it 2, maybe 3 times a week? And when I do have meat, invest in organic chicken, beef, whatever it is I'm choosing, fish. And so then instead of having it as often, we have it less, but it is organic. Again, when we choose organic, those synthetic hormones that a lot of animals have, antibiotics greatly reduced when it comes to organic meats and products. We also know that, animal welfare is a very big part of choosing organic. So the way the animals are actually treated, we think about chickens being free range, all something to consider.
Is there anything coming up this week that people can find out more about organic?
Yeah, definitely. So, all this week, September 16th to the 24th is Organic Week. So on the Canadian Health Food Association website, CHFA.ca, we've got all kinds of information on going organic. Also, we have some great recipes that I helped to develop. A matcha almond butter cup, which is so amazing. I love it. I love them. My son loves them as well. Or you can visit the Organic Week website, organicweek.ca, for a list of events. There's all kinds of stuff happening across the country.
Okay, and just hold up that logo so we can see it. Is that's the logo you should absolutely look for? So it says, because on the radio you can't hear us, Canada Organic, and then in French on the other side.
Yes.
But it's rolling green fields with a red maple leaf coming up as the sun behind it. Very attractive. Okay.
Michelle, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
This is What She Said. We'll be right back.